The envelope was wrinkled, as if someone had clenched it in their fist for a long time before finally letting go. Michael's name was scrawled across the front in handwriting he hadn't seen in 10 years. His father's. The letter sat on the kitchen counter like an accusation. Michael stared at it, his coffee going cold in his hands. He hadn't spoken to his father since the night he walked out. 10 years. No calls. No emails. And now this. A letter, delivered by a courier who wouldn't meet his eyes. Lisa reached for it. Aren't you going to open it? Michael set his mug down too hard. Why should I? Because it's here. Because he's your father. Not anymore. But the letter didn't disappear. It stayed there, demanding attention. The paper was thin, almost fragile. The kind used in hospitals. Lisa exhaled. The courier said it was urgent. Michael picked it up. The weight was all wrong. Too light for what it carried. He slid a finger under the flap, hesitated, then tore it open. The first line hit like a punch to the throat. Asterisk, Michael, if you're reading this, I don't have much time left. Asterisk. His vision blurred. The words swam on the page. Asterisk, I need you to know, I was wrong. About everything. Asterisk. A noise escaped him, something between a laugh and a curse. Wrong? Now, after all these years? Lisa touched his arm. What does it say? Michael couldn't answer. His father's voice, brittle and unfamiliar, filled his head. Asterisk. I thought being hard on you would make you strong. Instead, it just made you leave. Asterisk. The next line was smudged, as if water had fallen on the ink. Asterisk. The doctors say it's cancer. Stage 4. I've got weeks, maybe less. Asterisk. Michael's chest tightened. He should have felt something. Anger, grief, satisfaction. Instead, there was just a hollow ache. Lisa squeezed his hand. Michael. He kept reading. Asterisk. There's something I never told you. The reason I pushed you so hard. The reason I. Asterisk. The sentence ended abruptly, the ink trailing off. Then, lower down, as if written later. Asterisk. Come see me. Please. There's more you need to know. Asterisk. An address followed. A hospice center. Michael dropped the letter. His hands were shaking. Lisa picked it up, her eyes scanning the words. When she looked at him, her voice was quiet. You're going, aren't you? He didn't answer. He didn't know. But the letter wasn't done with him yet. On the back, in a hurried scrawl, 2 more words. Asterisk. Bring the box. Asterisk. Michael froze. The box. The one hidden in the back of his closet. The one he hadn't opened in a decade. His father knew about it. Somehow, after all this time, he knew. The box. Michael hadn't thought about it in years. He'd shoved it into the darkest corner of his closet the day he moved out, buried under old shoes and winter coats like a body in a shallow grave. He hadn't opened it, hadn't even touched it. The mere sight of the thing, a dented metal lockbox, the kind meant for storing ammunition, had made his stomach twist. Now, standing in the bedroom with the letter crumpled in his fist, he could feel it calling to him from the other side of the door. Lisa hovered in the doorway, arms crossed. What box is he talking about? Michael didn't answer. He strode to the closet, yanked it open, and started throwing coats onto the bed. The smell of mothballs and dust filled the air. Michael. Lisa's voice was sharper now. Talk to me. His fingers brushed cold metal. He flinched. The box was smaller than he remembered, but heavier. The lock was rusted shut. He'd never had the key. Lisa stepped closer. What's inside? I don't know. The lie tasted bitter. He did know, or at least suspected. The last time he'd seen this box, it had been in his father's study, tucked under the desk like a secret. 17-year-old Michael had grabbed it during their final fight, hurled it at the wall. His father had gone pale, then furious. Asterisk. Put that down. Asterisk. The memory echoed like a gunshot. Lisa reached for the box. Michael pulled it away. Give it to me, she said. No. Then open it. His jaw tightened. The rusted lock wouldn't budge. He could break it. A hammer, maybe, or a chisel, but something stopped him. Fear, maybe, or the unshakable sense that once he opened this box, there'd be no going back. Lisa exhaled through her nose. You're really not going to tell me what this is about? Michael set the box on the dresser. It landed with a thud. It's between me and him. That's bullshit. Her voice cracked. I'm your wife. Whatever's in that box, whatever happened between you two, it affects me too. It affects Jack. Their son's name hit him like a slap. Jack, who was at school right now, blissfully unaware that his grandfather was dying. Jack, who'd never even met the man. Michael turned away. I need to think. Think fast, Lisa snapped. Your father's dying. If you don't go now, you'll never get answers. The words hung between them, sharp as broken glass. The hospice was a low, beige building on the outskirts of town. Michael sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes, the box on the passenger seat, staring at the entrance. He should have brought Lisa. He knew that. But this was something he had to do alone. The lobby smelled like antiseptic and overcooked green beans. A nurse with tired eyes glanced up. Visiting hours ended at 8. Michael cleared his throat. James Collier. Room number. The nurse's expression shifted. Pity. He hated it. Room 114. Down the hall to the left. She hesitated. He's been asking for you. The hallway stretched too long, the fluorescent lights buzzing like insects. Room 114's door was slightly ajar. Michael pushed it open. The man in the bed was a stranger. Gone was the broad-shouldered drill sergeant of Michael's childhood. This man was skeletal, his skin waxy and yellowed. Tubes snaked from his arms. His eyes were closed. Michael's throat closed. He hadn't expected this. Hadn't prepared for it. The floor creaked. His father's eyes flew open. For a long moment, they just stared at each other. Then his father spoke, his voice a dry rasp. You brought it. Michael set the box on the bedside table. Yeah. His father's gaze locked onto it, like a lifeline. Open it. I can't. It's locked. A weak cough. Keys in the Bible. Psalms 34 verse 18. Michael froze. His father hadn't stepped foot in a church in 40 years. The Bible on the nightstand was old, its leather cover cracked. Inside, a small brass key lay tucked between the pages. Michael picked it up. It felt cold. The lock clicked open with a screech. Michael lifted the lid. Inside, a stack of yellowed envelopes, bound with twine. A faded Polaroid. And a gun. A sleek, black .38 revolver. Michael recoiled. What the hell? His father's breath rattled. Look at the picture. The Polaroid showed two men standing beside a car. One was young, grinning, Michael's father, decades ago. The other man's face was scratched out with furious black marks. Who is this? Michael's fingers trembled. His father closed his eyes. The reason I pushed you away. A noise in the hallway. Footsteps. Too heavy for a nurse. Michael barely had time to react before the door burst open. A man stood there, mid-50s, graying hair, a scar cutting through his eyebrow. His gaze went straight to the open box. Then to the gun. His smile was slow, venomous. Well, James Collier's boy. I was hoping you'd show up. Michael's blood turned to ice. His father's hand shot out, gripping his wrist with surprising strength. Run, he whispered. But it was too late. The stranger stepped inside, shutting the door behind him. The stranger's shoes clicked against the linoleum floor as he stepped fully into the room. His eyes never left the open box. Michael instinctively moved between him and his father, his fingers brushing against the cold metal of the gun before pulling back as if burned. You must be Michael, the man said, his voice carrying the rough edges of a lifelong smoker. I've heard so much about you. He smiled, revealing a gold-capped molar. Your daddy here used to show me your little league photos back when we were, what would you call us, Jim? Business associates. Michael's father struggled to sit up, tubes tugging at his arms. Get out, Garrick. This doesn't concern him. Garrick chuckled, pulling a folding knife from his pocket and flipping it open with practiced ease. The blade caught the fluorescent light. Oh, I think it does now. Especially since he's seen that. He nodded toward the box. Family secrets have a way of coming back to bite you, don't they, Jim? The heart monitor's beeping accelerated. Michael could feel his own pulse hammering in his throat. He'd walked into something far older and darker than a simple deathbed reconciliation. Garrick took another step forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to hand me that box, and then we're all going to forget this little visit ever happened. Michael's fingers twitched toward the gun again. His father's hand clamped down on his wrist with surprising strength. Don't, he wheezed. That's not the way. Garrick's smile widened. Smart man. You shoot me, the nurses come running. Even if you get away, I've got associates who know exactly where to find your pretty wife and that little boy of yours. What's his name? Jack. Ice flooded Michael's veins. He hadn't mentioned his son to anyone. How do you? 20 years is a long time to hold a grudge, Garrick interrupted. Your father and I, we've got unfinished business. That box belongs to me. The Polaroid on top of the letters showed the car more clearly now. A late 70s Pontiac. its trunk slightly ajar. Michael's stomach turned as he noticed the dark stain on the pavement beneath it. His father's breathing grew labored. "Take the letters and go, Michael. Leave the rest." Garrick's knife hand twitched. "Oh no, everything in that box is mine. Including that gun, which I believe is still registered to me. Isn't it, Jim?" He took another step. Last chance. The heart monitor's rhythm became erratic. Michael's father gasped, his face turning ashen. For a terrible moment, Michael thought this was it, that his father would die right here, leaving him alone with this monster and a box full of ghosts. Then the machines erupted in alarm. Garrick hesitated as nurses' footsteps pounded down the hallway. His eyes darted between Michael and the box. "This isn't over," he hissed, snapping the knife shut. "I'll be seeing you, Jim. And you." He pointed at Michael. "Should ask your daddy what really happened to your mother." As Garrick slipped out the side door, nurses flooded in, pushing Michael aside. One shouted for a crash cart. Another began CPR. Michael stood frozen, the box still open on the table, Garrick's words echoing in his skull. What happened to his mother? The official story had always been a car accident when Michael was 6. He had no memories of her, just a single photograph on his dresser of a smiling woman with his eyes. A nurse gripped his arm. "Sir, we need to take him to ICU. You'll have to wait outside." Michael numbly gathered the box, leaving the gun but pocketing the key and the photograph. The letters remained tied together, their edges brittle with age. The top one was addressed to him in his father's handwriting, dated the year he left home. Outside the ICU, Michael slumped into a chair. The waiting room smelled of stale coffee and antiseptic. He stared at the sealed letter in his hands, the paper thin as onion skin. Part of him wanted to burn it unread. Another part needed to know what could possibly explain any of this. He slid his finger under the flap. The letter inside was short, just a few lines. "Michael, if you're reading this, I've failed you twice. First by not being the father you needed, and second by not telling you the truth. Your mother didn't die in an accident. She left because of me, because of what I did. There's money set aside for you in a safety deposit box at First National, key enclosed. Take it and don't look back. I'm sorry." Michael turned the letter over, expecting more, but that was it. No explanation. No details about what his father had done. Just another abandonment wrapped in apology. The ICU doors hissed open. A doctor approached, her face unreadable. "Mr. Collier? Your father is stabilized for now, but I'm afraid the prognosis hasn't changed. He's asking for you." Michael stood, the letter crumpling in his fist. 1,000 questions burned in his chest, but only one mattered now. What had his father done that was bad enough to make his mother disappear and bring a man like Garrick to his deathbed? The doctor hesitated. "There's something else. When we were prepping him for transport, we found this taped to his chest." She held out a small, faded photograph, another Polaroid, this one showing his father and Garrick standing over an open trunk. The contents were blurred, but the stain on the concrete was unmistakable. On the back, in smeared ink, "You owe me." Michael's hands began to shake. This wasn't just about some old grudge. This was about a body, possibly more than one. And now Garrick thought Michael knew about it. The waiting room television flickered to life with a news bulletin. A reporter stood outside a burning building Michael recognized, his father's old auto shop on the edge of town. The caption read, "Suspected arson." Garrick wasn't just sending a message. He was erasing the past. And Michael had just become the only living person who might know where the bodies were buried. The doctor cleared her throat. "Sir, your father." Michael tucked the new photograph away with the others. Whatever truth awaited him in that ICU room, he wasn't ready to hear it. Not yet. Not until he understood what game they'd been playing all these years, and how many pieces were still in play. He turned toward the exit. "Tell him I'll be back." The box under his arm felt heavier than ever. Somewhere in those letters was the key to everything. But first, he needed to get to Lisa and Jack before Garrick did. As he pushed through the hospital doors into the gathering twilight, Michael realized with cold certainty that his father's letter hadn't been a plea for forgiveness. It had been a warning. The hospital doors hissed shut behind Michael as he stepped into the parking lot, the evening air thick with the scent of rain and gasoline. His fingers tightened around the box as he scanned the rows of cars, half expecting Garrick to emerge from the shadows. The Polaroid burned in his pocket like a live coal, its implications spreading through his mind like ink in water. His truck sat alone at the far end of the lot, its chrome reflecting the flickering orange glow of the streetlights. The walk to it felt endless, each step measured against the possibility of unseen eyes watching from the darkened windows of the hospice. When he finally reached the driver's side door, he hesitated, his hand hovering over the handle as he peered through the glass, checking the back seat. Empty. The engine roared to life, the sound unnaturally loud in the quiet lot. Michael's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror as he reversed, catching a glimpse of movement near the hospital entrance, a figure in a dark coat stepping out from behind a pillar. He couldn't make out the face, but the way the man stood, motionless, watching, sent a jolt of adrenaline through him. He hit the gas harder than necessary, the tires squealing as he pulled onto the main road. The streets were slick with rain, the neon signs of the city smearing across his windshield like wet paint. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Lisa. He ignored it. The letters in the box shifted as he took a sharp turn, the rustle of paper like whispers from the past. He needed to read them, but not here. Not yet. Lisa was waiting on the porch when he pulled into the driveway, her arms crossed against the chill. The light from the living room window painted her in gold, but her expression was anything but warm. You didn't answer your phone, she said as he stepped out of the truck. I know. She studied his face, her gaze sharp. What happened? Michael hesitated, the weight of the box pressing against his side. We need to talk. Inside, Jack was sprawled on the living room floor, engrossed in a video game. He barely glanced up as they entered. Hey, Dad. Hey, Bud. Michael forced a smile, but it felt brittle. Why don't you go play in your room for a bit? Your mom and I need to talk. Jack groaned but obeyed, dragging his feet as he disappeared down the hall. Lisa crossed her arms. You're scaring me. Michael set the box on the coffee table. I need you to take Jack and go somewhere safe for a few days. What? What? He pulled out the Polaroid and handed it to her. Because of this. Lisa's breath hitched as she studied the image. Who are these people? That's my father. And the other man. His name is Garrick. He showed up at the hospital today. Threatened me. Threatened us. Lisa's face paled. What does he want? I don't know. But it's tied to whatever's in this box. He flipped open the lid, revealing the stack of letters. And I think it's tied to my mother, too. Lisa sank onto the couch, her fingers trembling as she picked up the top letter. Have you read these? Just one. She unfolded it, her eyes scanning the lines. When she looked up, her expression was unreadable. Michael, this says your mother didn't die in an accident. I know. Then where is she? That's what I need to find out. A knock at the door made them both freeze. Michael's pulse spiked. Take Jack and go out the back. Now. Lisa stood, her movements quick and silent. She grabbed Jack's backpack from the hook by the door and disappeared down the hall. The knock came again, louder this time. Michael approached the door, his hand hovering near the baseball bat propped in the corner. He peered through the peephole. A woman stood on the porch, her dark hair streaked with gray, her face lined with age and something else, fear. She clutched a faded leather purse to her chest, her knuckles white. Michael's breath caught. He knew that face, from the photograph on his dresser. He yanked the door open. The woman flinched, her eyes widening. Michael. His voice came out hoarse. Mom. The silence that followed was suffocating. His mother, his mother, stood frozen on the threshold, her gaze darting past him into the house, as if expecting someone else to appear. The years had carved deep lines into her face, but her eyes were the same as his. How? Was all he could manage. She swallowed hard. Garrett called me. Said you'd gone to see your father. Said you'd found the box. Her voice was softer than he remembered, frayed at the edges. I had to warn you. Warn me about what? She stepped forward, her hand outstretched, but stopped short of touching him. You can't trust anything your father told you. Or anything in those letters. Michael's mind reeled. You've been alive this whole time. And you never, his voice cracked. You never came back. Her face crumpled. I wanted to, but it wasn't safe. For who? For you. Behind him, Lisa reappeared in the hallway, Jack peeking around her legs. His mother's eyes flicked to them, and for a moment, something like grief passed over her features. You have a family, she whispered. Yeah, I do. Michael's voice hardened. And you're going to tell me why you abandoned yours. A car engine growled outside, the headlights sweeping across the front windows. His mother tensed. They're here. Who's here? She grabbed his arm, her grip surprisingly strong. Garrick. And the others. They've been watching the house. Michael pulled away. What the hell is going on? The box, she said urgently. It's proof. Proof of what your father did. What they all did. The car door slammed outside. Lisa rushed forward, grabbing Jack's hand. Michael, go out the back. Take the car and drive to your sister's. Don't stop. Lisa hesitated, her eyes darting between him and his mother. Then she nodded, pulling Jack toward the kitchen. Michael turned back to his mother. You're coming with me. She shook her head. I can't. If they find me with you, then you'd better start talking fast. Footsteps crunched on the gravel outside. His mother's eyes locked onto his. Your father wasn't just a mechanic, Michael. He was a thief. They all were. Garrick, your father, the others, they robbed banks. Armored cars. And then one night, it went wrong. How wrong? People died. The words landed like a punch. A fist pounded on the door. Michael Collier. Open up. His mother's voice dropped to a whisper. The money they stole was never found. Garrick thinks your father hid it. And now that he's dying, he thinks you know where it is. The pounding came again, harder this time. The doorframe shuddered. Michael grabbed the box and his mother's arm. We're leaving. He yanked her toward the back door, just as the front door splintered open behind them. The night swallowed them as they sprinted across the backyard, the shouts of Garrick and his men close behind. Michael's mother kept pace beside him, her breath coming in ragged gasps. His truck was parked 2 streets over. If they could just reach it. A figure stepped out from behind a neighbor's fence, blocking their path. Garrick. He held a gun loosely at his side, his smile cold in the moonlight. Going somewhere. Michael shoved his mother behind him. Stay back. Garrick chuckled. Family reunion? How touching. His gaze dropped to the box in Michael's hands. Hand it over, kid. This doesn't have to get messy. You're not getting anything. Garrick's smile faded. Your father owed me. That money is mine. I don't know anything about money. Then you're useless to me. Garrick raised the gun. Michael's mother stepped forward. Stop. Please. Garrick's eyes flicked to her. Well, look who finally came out of hiding. She held his gaze. Let him go. It's me you want. Garrick laughed. I want both of you. You're going to tell me where your husband hid my money. I don't know. Bullshit. Garrick's finger tightened on the trigger. Last chance. A siren wailed in the distance. Garrick hesitated, his head turning toward the sound. Michael didn't wait. He lunged, tackling Garrick to the ground. The gun skittered across the pavement. His mother scooped it up, her hands steady despite the tremor in her voice. Run, Michael. Garrick snarled, twisting beneath him. You're dead. Both of you. Michael scrambled to his feet, grabbing his mother's hand. They ran, the sound of Garrick's curses fading behind them. The truck was still there. Michael wrenched the door open, shoving the box inside before helping his mother climb in. The engine roared to life. As they peeled away from the curb, Michael caught a glimpse of Garrick in the rearview mirror, standing in the middle of the road, his face twisted in rage. His mother slumped in the seat, her hands shaking. They'll never stop looking for us. Michael tightened his grip on the wheel. Then we'll have to disappear. The box sat between them, its secrets still unspoken. But one thing was clear, this wasn't over. Not even close. The truck's headlights cut through the darkness as Michael sped down back roads, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. His mother sat rigid in the passenger seat, her hands clutching the box in her lap like it might explode. The rain had started again, fat drops splattering against the windshield in erratic bursts, matching the rhythm of his racing thoughts. Where are we going? His mother's voice was barely audible over the engine. I don't know yet. Michael glanced at the rearview mirror for the 10th time in as many minutes. No headlights followed them, but that didn't mean they were safe. Garrick had found them at the house. He could find them again. The box shifted as they hit a pothole, the metal lock clinking against itself. His mother's fingers traced the edges of the lid like she was afraid to open it. You don't understand what's in here. Then explain it to me. Michael's voice came out harsher than he intended. Start with why you left. She flinched, her eyes dropping to her lap. The dashboard lights cast shadows across her face, deepening the lines around her mouth. I didn't have a choice. Your father, he wasn't the man you thought he was. Clearly, the words tasted bitter. Were you part of it? The robberies? No. The vehemence in her voice surprised him. I didn't know anything about it until it was too late. That night, the night everything went wrong, I walked in on them dividing the money. Garrick was there. Two other men I'd never seen before. And your father. She trailed off, her throat working. He had blood on his hands. The image made Michael's stomach turn. He forced himself to focus on the road. What happened then? I took you and ran. I knew if I stayed, Garrick would kill us both. Your father made sure I disappeared. Fake death certificate, new identity. He thought he was protecting us. But Garrick found you. She nodded slowly. Years later. I've been running ever since. Her fingers tightened on the box. This is what he's been after all this time. Proof of what they did. And a map to where your father hid the rest of the money. Michael's breath caught. There's more. Over $2 million. And Garrick will kill everyone in his way to get it back. The truck's engine groaned as they climbed a steep hill. At the summit, Michael pulled over, killing the lights. Below them, the town sprawled out like a glittering map. Somewhere down there, Lisa and Jack were driving to safety. Somewhere down there, Garrick was hunting them. His mother opened the box with trembling hands. Inside, beneath the stack of letters, lay a small, leather-bound notebook. She flipped it open to reveal a series of dates, names, and what looked like coordinates scrawled in his father's tight handwriting. This is it, she whispered. The ledger. Every job, every payout. And the last entry. Her finger stopped on a page near the back. This is where he hid it. Michael leaned closer. The writing was smudged, but he could make out what looked like directions to an old fishing cabin near the state line. A place his father had taken him hunting once, years ago. A crunch of gravel outside the truck made them both freeze. Michael's head snapped up. A dark figure stood just beyond the driver's side window, backlit by the moon. Before he could react, the door was yanked open, and cold metal pressed against his temple. Hand it over. Garrick's breath smelled of mint. Slowly, Michael's mother gasped, clutching the box to her chest. I said. Garrick pressed the gun harder. Hand it over. Every muscle in Michael's body tensed. He could feel his pulse pounding in his throat. One wrong move, and a gunshot cracked through the night. Garrick staggered back with a grunt, his free hand flying to his shoulder. Dark blood seeped between his fingers. Michael spun to see his mother holding the revolver from the box, her arms shaking but her aim steady. Drive, she ordered. Michael didn't hesitate. The truck's tires spit gravel as he slammed the accelerator. Behind them, Garrick's curses faded into the distance, but Michael knew they hadn't seen the last of him. His mother collapsed back into her seat, the gun clattering to the floorboards. He'll follow us. Then we'll be ready. Michael's mind raced. The cabin was 3 hours away. If they could get there first, maybe they could end this. But as the miles stretched between them and the town, one question burned in Michael's mind. What would they find when they got there? Money? Answers? Or something far worse? The notebook lay open between them, its pages fluttering in the wind from the cracked window. Somewhere in those scribbled notes was the truth about his father, about his family, and Michael intended to uncover every last secret, no matter the cost. The road ahead was dark, the trees pressing in on either side like silent witnesses. Somewhere behind them, Garrick was coming. And this time, he wouldn't stop until he got what he wanted, or until one of them was dead. The truck's headlights carved a tunnel through the blackness as they sped down the county road, trees pressing in on both sides like silent sentinels. Michael's hands had gone numb from gripping the wheel, his knuckles standing out pale against his skin. The notebook lay open on the center console, its pages fluttering with each bump in the road. His mother hadn't spoken since the gunshot. She sat hunched in the passenger seat, staring at her hands where they lay limp in her lap. The smell of gunpowder still clung to her, mixing with the damp leather scent of the old truck. We need to call Lisa, Michael said, breaking the silence that had stretched between them for miles. Let her know we're okay. His mother's head snapped up. No phones. They can trace calls. Michael frowned. You sound like you've done this before. A shadow passed over her face. I told you. I've been running for 20 years. The dashboard clock read 2:17 a.m. when they crossed the county line. The rain had stopped, leaving the road slick and shining under the moonlight. Michael kept checking the mirrors, expecting to see headlights cresting the hill behind them at any moment. The directions in the notebook led them onto increasingly narrow roads, until they were crawling down a dirt path barely wide enough for the truck. Branches scraped against the windows like skeletal fingers. There, his mother pointed to a break in the trees ahead. That's the turn. The truck bounced over a shallow creek, the water splashing up over the hood. Then the cabin came into view, a squat, weathered structure with a sagging porch. The moonlight painted the windows black, giving the place a hollow, empty-eyed look. Michael killed the engine. The sudden silence pressed against his eardrums. Somewhere in the distance, an owl called, the sound lonely and mournful. "We should check it first," his mother said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Make sure no one's waiting." Michael reached under the seat and pulled out the revolver. The metal was cold and heavy in his hand. "Stay here." The cabin door creaked when he pushed it open, the sound unnaturally loud in the stillness. The interior smelled of mildew and wood smoke. His flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing a single room with a stone fireplace, a sagging couch, and a table covered in dust. Then he saw it. A fresh footprint in the dust near the fireplace. Too small to be his father's. Someone had been here recently. Michael spun around just as the door slammed shut behind him. The lock clicked into place. "Mom." He rushed to the window, but the boards outside had been nailed shut. "Mom." A figure stepped out of the shadows in the corner. Not his mother. Not Garrick. A woman. Mid-40s, with dark hair streaked with gray. She held a shotgun leveled at his chest. "You look just like him," she said. Her voice was rough, like she hadn't spoken in days. "James's boy." Michael raised the revolver, but she didn't flinch. "Who are you?" "Name's Rita. I was there that night." She lowered the shotgun slightly. "Your daddy sent me to watch this place. Said you might come." The pieces clicked together. "You're one of them." "The crew." She nodded. "Was before Garrick turned on us." She jerked her chin toward the door. "Your mama out there?" Michael didn't answer. His finger tightened on the trigger. Rita sighed and set the shotgun on the table. "I ain't your enemy, kid. James saved my life. I owed him." She moved to the fireplace and pried up a loose stone. "He left this for you." A metal box, smaller than the one in the truck, but just as battered. Michael kept the gun trained on her as he took it. The lock opened with the same key from the Bible. Inside, wrapped in oilcloth, was a stack of $100 bills and a single sheet of paper. Michael unfolded it with trembling hands. It was a letter. From his father. "Michael, if you're reading this, you found the cabin. And you met Rita. Trust her. She's the only one who knows the whole story. The money in this box is clean. The rest isn't. Garrick will never stop looking for it. So I'm giving you a choice. Take this money and disappear. Or use what's in the notebook to end this. Either way, know that I'm sorry. Dad." Michael looked up. Rita was watching him, her face unreadable. "There's more," she said. "Things your daddy never told you. About that night. About why your mama really left." Outside, a twig snapped. Then another. Footsteps on the porch. Rita's hand flew to her shotgun. "Get down." The window exploded inward as the first shot rang out. Glass rained down around them as Michael hit the floor. Another shot followed, then the sound of the door splintering. Garrick's voice cut through the chaos. "I know you're in there, Rita. You and the kid. Come out with your hands up." Michael rolled behind the couch, the revolver slick in his sweaty palm. Rita crouched beside him, her breath coming in short bursts. "There's a back way," she whispered. "Through the root cellar. Take the money and go." "What about you?" She grinned, showing a gold tooth. "I owe Garrick a bullet." Another shot shattered what was left of the window. Michael could hear multiple voices outside now. Garrick wasn't alone. Then, cutting through the gunfire, came his mother's voice. "Garrett, look at me." A pause. Then Garrick's laugh. Well, the whole family's here." Michael risked a glance through the broken window. His mother stood at the edge of the clearing, her hands raised. Moonlight glinted off something in her right hand. "I have what you want," she called. "The coordinates to the rest of the money. Let them go, and it's yours." Garrick stepped into view, a pistol dangling from his fingers. "Why would I do that?" "Because you're a businessman, not a killer." Her voice didn't waver. "Take the deal." Michael's heart hammered against his ribs. She was lying. The real coordinates were in the notebook, still in the truck. She was buying them time. Rita gripped his arm. "Now's our chance." While they're distracted. But Michael couldn't move. Couldn't leave her. Then everything happened at once. His mother threw the paper into the air. Garrick lunged for it. And Rita stood up and fired through the window. The shotgun blast caught Garrick in the shoulder, spinning him around. His men opened fire, bullets chewing through the cabin walls. Michael saw his mother drop to the ground as the night erupted in gunfire. Then Rita was dragging him toward a trapdoor in the corner. "Go," she shouted. shoving him toward the dark opening. I'll hold them off. The last thing Michael saw before the cellar door closed was Rita reloading the shotgun, her face set in grim determination. The root cellar smelled of damp earth and rotting wood. Michael stumbled through the darkness, his hands scraping against rough stone walls. Somewhere above him, the gunfire continued, then suddenly stopped. A terrible silence fell. Then footsteps, moving toward the trapdoor. Michael pressed himself against the wall as the door creaked open. A beam of light speared the darkness. "Michael," his mother's voice, raw with fear. "Are you down there?" He nearly collapsed with relief. "Here." She climbed down, her clothes torn and her face streaked with dirt. "We have to move. Now." "What about Rita?" "Garrick." "Rita's gone." Her voice broke. "Garrick too, but his men are still out there." They emerged into the pre-dawn gray, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder and pine. The cabin smoldered, flames licking at one corner. Bodies lay in the clearing, but Michael couldn't bring himself to look too closely. The truck was still there, untouched. As they climbed in, Michael noticed the notebook had fallen to the floorboard. The pages were open to the last entry, coordinates, just like his mother had said. But there was something else. A name, underlined 3 times. Daniel. Michael froze. That was his middle name, the one his father had given him. His mother saw it too. Her breath caught. "Oh God, he left it for you." "Left what?" But she was already reaching for the ignition. "We need to go? Now." As the truck roared to life, Michael stared at the notebook, at the coordinates, at his own name written in his father's hand. Whatever secret lay at those coordinates, his father had meant for him to find it. Alone. And judging by the look on his mother's face, it was something she never wanted him to see. Michael's hands trembled as he stared at the notebook, the coordinates and his name seared into his vision. The truck's engine rumbled beneath them, the only sound in the heavy silence. His mother's grip on the steering wheel was white-knuckled, her eyes darting between the rearview mirror and the road ahead. The first light of dawn crept over the horizon, painting the trees in pale gold, but it did nothing to soften the weight pressing against his chest. "We can't go there," his mother whispered, her voice frayed at the edges. "That place, it's not just about the money." Michael looked at her, really looked, and saw the fear she'd carried for 20 years. The same fear that had made her disappear, that had kept her in the shadows. But he also saw something else, resignation. Like she knew this moment would come eventually. "I have to," he said quietly. She didn't argue, just nodded once, her jaw tight, and turned the truck toward the coordinates. The cabin was nothing more than a collapsed ruin, half buried in the woods. Moss-covered and forgotten. But beneath the rotting floorboards, they found it. A rusted safe, just like the one in his father's old garage. The combination was his birthday. Inside wasn't just money. There were photographs, newspaper clippings, a police badge, and a letter, the paper yellowed with age. Michael unfolded it carefully, his father's words spilling out like a confession. Asterisk, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. And I need you to know the truth. The money was never the point. Garrick was dirty, a cop on the take. We were supposed to be stealing evidence, not cash. But things went wrong. People died. And I ran. I should have turned myself in. Should have protected you and your mother better. But I was a coward. The money in this safe is clean. It's yours. The rest? Let it burn. You deserve a life without my mistakes haunting you. Just know, I loved you, even if I didn't know how to show it. Asterisk. Michael's breath shuddered. All these years, he'd thought his father was just a thief, a criminal. But the truth was worse. He'd been a man who saw his mistakes too late. His mother's hand settled on his shoulder, warm and steady. He wasn't all bad, she said softly. Just broken. Michael swallowed hard. He'd spent his whole life angry at a ghost. But now, holding the remnants of his father's regrets, he realized something. Forgiveness wasn't about excusing what happened. It was about freeing himself from the weight of it. He closed the safe, left the money inside. Then he took his mother's hand and walked away. 1 year later, the new cafe was small, but the light streaming through the windows made it feel endless. Michael wiped down the counter as Jack chattered about his school project, his laughter bright and unburdened. Lisa slid a cup of coffee toward him, her smile knowing. "You good?" Michael glanced at the photo on the wall, his parents, young and smiling, before everything fell apart. He'd added it a month ago, not to dwell, just to remember. "Yeah," he said. "I'm good." Outside, The sun rose higher, painting the street in gold. And for the first time in years, Michael didn't look back. If you enjoyed this emotional journey of family, secrets, and redemption, make sure to subscribe for more gripping stories. Like and follow us for your next unforgettable read. Asterisk.